Test, test. Can you hear me?
Yes, this is better.
Okay, thank
You
you.
may first introduce yourself and then start your presentation, please.
Okay. Good morning. Hello, everyone. Before we begin, let me introduce myself. My name is Nurul Fauzia. I'm from Unisma. I'm staying from Unisma in University of Islam Malang. And today, I will present my research about this. Today, I will present the results of my research about effect of sucrose immersion on retinal tissue damage of adult zebrafish. Before I present, do you see the presentation? Next, for introduction, we know that sucrose or sugar is disaccharide consisting of glucose and fructose, which is an important macronutrient for maintaining our normal physiological activities and functions. Sucrose can directly enter the bloodstream and increase the blood glucose level and increase the risk of type 2 diabetes, which is characterized by hyperglycemia. Diet high in sucrose, especially foods that contain high of glucose and fructose, in the long term can cause metabolic disorders. Chronic hyperglycemia in the DM patient is associated with long-term damage, dysfunction, and failure of various organs, including the eyes. Hyperglycemia is a risk factor that contributes to the development of diabetic retinopathy. And next, the aims of the research is to determine the effect of sucrose induction on increasing ganglion cell apoptosis and decreasing IPL thickness of the zebrafish retina. And for materials, the research was conducted laboratorically with post-test group control design. Subject, we use male adult zebrafish. The research group consists of normal group, which is 0% sucrose, and then sucrose treatment group, there are 1%, 2%, and 4%. Each group consists of 30 fish. The treatment will process by 28 days. And for method, the first is making sucrose stage, and then in induction for 28 days, euthanasia by immersing with ice water for 10 minutes, and then dissection of the eye organ to remove retinal tissue. Next is making preparation, observation of retinal tissue damage with a microscope, and the last one is data analysis. And this is a picture of histopathological zebrafish. We can see A is normal control, B is 1% sucrose immersion induction, yang C 2% sucrose induction, and D is 4% sucrose induction. The black arrow is the normal ganglion cells. The red arrow, we can see this is apoptotic of ganglion cell, characterized by pycnotic cell, which is cell fermentation in the form of the Beck's purple color in the nucleus, and then the green one is the apoptotic body. And then this is a picture of histological retinal layer of zebrafish. We can see there are 5 main layers in retinal tissue, including the ganglion layer, inner plexiform layer, inner neural layer, outer plexiform layer, and outer neural layer. In the bottom, on the left, is the histogram of apoptotic cell, which is sucrose induction, cause an increase in the number of ganglion cell of apoptosis compared to the normal. Normal is P0. And then in the right is histogram of IPL retinal thickness, which is sucrose induction, cause a decrease in retinal thickness compared to the normal group. For the result and conclusion, the sucrose immersion of all dose caused an increase in ganglion cell apoptosis by 46%, 47%, 65%, and IPL thickness of 35%, 41%, and 59% compared to the normal group. 4% sucrose immersion is significantly different from the normal group for the variable number of ganglion cells that undergo apoptosis and the thickness of the IPL layer, which is thought to be related to hyperglycemia. Sucrose immersion can increase retinal damage in zebrafish induced by 4% sucrose immersion. That's all my presentation. Thank you for attention.
Nurul Faiza, thank you for your very nice presentation.
Yes, Prof.
The audience, is there any questions to Nurul Faiza? Nurul, I have a very simple question. What is the reason that you use zebrafish for this experiment?
Why use zebrafish? Number one is as a substitute for mice and rats, which are easier to handle. And then it is easier to induce hyperglycemia by soaking zebrafish in a certain dose of solution without having to inject alloxan or streptozotocin, which have side effect. And then zebrafish have a composition similar to mammals. Theoles insulin is homogeneous with mammals insulin, so it can be used for research related to metabolic disorder.
Thank you for the explanation, Nurul.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay. Is there any other questions? No other questions, I think. Then, is there anyone?
Thank you for this presentation.
Okay. Then let's continue with the second presentation. Hadika Arşat, Muhammed Fatih Doğan, Münevver Nazlıcan, Özlem Özmen, Osman Çiftçi. 1.8 Cineol protects against liver toxicity induced by Oracle 1254 in a rat model. Yes.
Hello,
Hadika.
everyone. Yes. My name is Hadika. I'm from Pakistan. I've graduated from Pamukkale University in Turkey, and my master project was about 1.8 cineol, and today I'm going to present about it.
Are you now in Deniz or Pakistan?
I'm in Pakistan right now.
Okay, very nice. Yes, listening to you, Hadika.
Okay, sir. Can you wait a second? Can you see the presentation?
Yes, we can see. You may start.
Okay. So the topic is about 1.8 cineol, which protects against liver toxicity induced by the aerosol 1254 in a rat model. We should start about the introduction. The introduction comprises about polychlorinated biphenyls, aerochlor 1254, terpenes, and 1.8 cineol. Polychlorinated biphenyls are the persistent organic pollutants. They are present in the environment for a very long period of time, and they are very toxic for the human health and the living organisms. And out of persistent organic pollutants, they are total 12 in number, and PCBs are also part of it. PCBs are the synthetic aromatic compounds, which have a chemical formula of C12HXCl. And they have two benzene rings and they have chlorine, and how much chlorine is present, they are going to be toxic. For this particular reason, the researchers and the health indicators have arranged a parameter which we call the toxicokinetics of the polychlorinated biphenyls, which will tell us how much amount of the PCBs are present in the atmosphere, and then they are going to tell us whether it's going to risky or going to create problems. The next is Aeroclo 1254. Aeroclo 1254 is one of the type of the PCBs, and we have to know how it's going to create effect on the liver. So the first is the mitochondrial dysfunction. By mitochondrial dysfunction, they create membrane integrity loss. The increase of the protein is like erode and perode. The mitochondrial respiratory chain is lost. And conitase inactivation, which is the enzyme which helps in the removal of the active metabolites. The next is the aryl hydrocarbon receptor upregulation. Whenever Aeroclo binds with it, it can cause the toxic by increasing the oxidative stress or the ROS. The number third is the increase of the apoptosis or the cancer prognition by p53 modulation, increase in BAX, and the other decrease in the anti-apoptotic proteins. Next is our terpenes, which is the protective agent. Terpenes are basically used as fragrance agents in our home and for a lot of time, but apart of that, they are also used for the therapeutic actions. For example, they are comprised of the isoprene units like hemiterpenes, monoterpenes, sesquiterpenes, diterpenes, triterpenes, and tetraterpenes. 1,8-cineol is a type of monoterpenes. It has 2 isoprene units. It has a hexagonal structure, and it has got very interesting pharmacological profile, like treating cardiovascular diseases, Alzheimer's diseases, and respiratory diseases. If we talk about the mechanism of action, it is also as antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and anti-cancer. And there are different pathways through which 1,8-cineol exerts its protective effect. So let's start about the aim of our work. The aim of this study was to investigate whether this terpene is going to act as a protective agent against the Aeroclo 1254 in rats, and to explore the possible pathways involving oxidative damage and inflammation and apoptotic cell death that plays in its mechanism of action. So let's start about the methodology. The first was the experimental protocol. It comprised of the 94 days, the purchase of the chemicals and the substances, then the dose management, and then the serum collection, dissection of the rats, and then the final was the analysis. So first, let's talk about the 30 days protocol of 1,8-cineol and Aeroclo 1254 administration. The Aeroclo was given for total of the 30 days. It was 100 milligram per kilogram, while the Aeroclo was given 1 milligram per kilogram intraperitoneally. And for control, we gave 0.5 ml of the corn oil. There were a total of 32 rats, and they were Vista albino rats. So this is the diagrammatic representation of how the rats were administered the respective substances. After the 30 days, the animals were sacrificed under the anesthesia, which comprised of the ketamine and xylene, and the blood was taken from the intercanal canal near to the heart, and the liver tissues were also taken out. For the histopathological analysis, we used the protocol for LICA ASP 300S device. And first the samples were collected and it were fixed in a 10% formaldehyde solution, and then they were stained, and then they were checked under the microscope whether they had the pathological conditions or not. The next was the immunohistochemical analysis. For immunohistochemical analysis, we used the liver sections that were used for detecting the BCL2 and BAX antibodies. Next step was the important one. It was used for the tissue homogenization. The tissue homogenization is necessary for the biochemical analysis and the molecular analysis. We take the sample, then we mince it in the PBS solution, and then we homogenize it, and then we centrifuge it at a specific rate for 5 minutes. Also, the serum collection was done. Whenever the blood was taken from the heart, they were stored in the EDA tubes for 10 to 20 minutes, and then their sera was taken out, and it was stored in -80 degrees centigrade. So the first step is the biochemical analysis. The biochemical analysis was done for the rat TAS and TOS elicits. TAS is the total antioxidant status, and TOS is the total oxidative status. The protocol was given according to the kits we used. The next was the molecular analysis. The molecular analysis is necessary for the PCR testing. and in which we use the triazole, which causes cell lysis, and then we add the chloroform. After the chloroform, there is the RNA layer in the epitope tube, then there is the DNA, and then there are the proteins. We have to take out the RNA. We took out the RNA, then we add the isopropanol, and then we centrifuge it, and then we have the RNA pellet, and then we take it out, and then we use it for further processes. So this was my photograph, in which the first figure you can see it, that there is the RNA, the next white layer is the DNA, and then there are proteins. And then after adding isopropanol, we took out the RNA. Okay, so we took out the RNA now. So we have to make the DNA for the PCR testing. For DNA, we use the 1 skip plus cDNA synthesis kit in accordance with the manufacturer's protocol. These were the ingredients. We put them, and then we put that solutions into the thermal cycle. And after the thermal cycle, the DNAs were synthesized and they were stored in -20 degrees centigrade. The final step was the PCR analysis. For PCR analysis, we classified the genes for the particular proteins according with the oxidative stress, inflammation, and cell death. And beta-actin was used as a reference. The genes were BCL2, BAX, TNF-alpha, interleukin-1B, interferon gamma, COX-2, and enos. These were the processes that was done, like how the PCR acts. And the statistical analysis, we used ANOVA testing for histopathological and immunohistochemical scores. For the RT-PCR test, basically we check the flow change by the help of gene glow method. And for the other purposes, we use GraphPad. So let's talk about the findings. First of all is the histopathological findings. The A is the control, B is the aeroclo group, C is the cineol group, and D is aeroclo plus cineol. So let's talk about the difference between B and D. In B, you can see that there is a lot of pathological actions going on by the use of aeroclor. So it means that it has caused toxicity. While in D, by the administration of cineol, the effect of the aeroclor hepatotoxicity is being lowered. So it is a positive effect for us. The next, the immunohistochemical findings. We use it for BCL2 and BAX. So let's talk about the BAX first. In the examination of the BAX staining, very mild or negative expressions were observed in the immunohistochemically stained sections of the liver in the control and cineol groups, while increased expressions were observed in the aeroclor groups. Whenever there is an increased expression of a particular protein in an immunohistochemical staining, you can see the visual brown staining. So it means that in B, the aeroclor has caused toxicity a lot, and there were too much BAX, which is a apoprotic protein. While comparing it with D, the cineol has lowered the effect of apoptosis, so the BAX has also been lowered. If we talk about the BCL staining, so the BCL is an anti-apoptotic protein. So in B, as you can see that there was no anti-apoptotic protein, so there was no proper brown staining also. But in D, you can see that the BCL2 was present. So it was a positive effect that cineol was acting as a anti-apoptotic compound. This is the statistical analysis of the immunohistochemical scores. If we can compare what BAX with BCL2, in aeroclor, BAX was 2.28, which means that it was very much higher, but BCL2 was lower. If we compare the aeroclor with the aeroclor plus cineol, it means that the BAX level as compared to aeroclor group was lowered, but in BCL2, as cineol tried to increase the BCL2 level, which means that it was a positive effect for us. Next, we talk about the biochemical findings. The biochemical findings were about TAS and TOS levels. First, we checked into the blood serum. As you can see that TAS is a total antioxidant status and TOS is a total oxidant status. Antioxidant status in aeroclor was lowered as compared to the other groups. And oxidant status in aeroclor was increased as compared to the other groups. This next TAS TOS was done in the liver tissues. It's the same. Like the TAS, antioxidant effect of aeroclor was lowered because it was causing toxicity. And in oxidative stress, aeroclor was higher. but the cineole tried to minimize the effects of both, which was a positive effect of us. The next and the foremost was the molecular analysis. Molecular analysis, we done it by the gene glow method, which was about the fold chain. The fold chain will tell us how much amount of this particular protein was increased in a particular group. So the total were about control, aeroclo, cineole, and aeroclo plus cineole. BCL2 was decreased, but increased in aeroclo plus cineole. TNF-alpha was drastically increased in our aeroclo group while decreased, and COX-2 was also decreased. So we can say that the inflammatory effect of the aeroclo was very much increased, but cineole tried to decrease it a lot. Let's talk about our results. If we talk about the histopathological analysis, we checked if there was a severe kind of hyperemia, swelling around the veins, edema in the aeroclo group. But if we give it to the cineole, it has ameliorated the pathological findings, which can be hypothesized that cineole, which is antioxidant, and it reduces the structural integrity of the hepatitis, which are severely affected by the aeroclo. The next is the immunohistochemical analysis. There is no particular literature review regarding this research, but if we have done it, and we got the positive effect, it means that the apoptotic cell death caused by the aeroclo can be decreased by the use of cineole. The next was the biochemical analysis. From the results, we can say that the antioxidant activity of cineole against the aeroclo is very much appreciative. And because it causes the hepatotoxicity on a very large scale, and if we give cineole in a very good amount, it can decrease the oxidative stress. The next is the molecular analysis. The first are the genes anti-apoptotic and apoptotic gene expression, BCL2 and BAX expression. In our study, it was found that the cineole significantly reduced the fold chain of the apoptotic BAX protein when applied to hepatocyte damaged by the aeroclo. Additionally, the decreased expression levels in the aeroclo compared to the control indicates that the hepatic cellular death is one of the prime mechanism of action by the aeroclo. And if the cineole is going to increase the BCL2 protein, it means that it's going to decrease the carcinogenesis effect of aeroclo. The next is the oxidative damage, which was resonated at TNF-alpha and interleukin-1B expression. These two oxidative damage indicators work coherently. And from the different researchers, it has been advised that the AHR receptors upregulated, and then they can increase the TNF-alpha and interleukin-1B, which means that the aeroclo is basically act on the AH receptors and cause the increase of these inflammatory responses. While the cineole decreases the anti-inflammatory effect of aeroclo by regulating the toxic effect of the aeroclo by acting deregulation of the aryl hydrocarbon receptors. The next is the inflammation gene expression, which was COX-2, interferon gamma, and enos expression. Yes, the COX-2 was increased by aeroclo in a very large amount, but 1,8 cineole tried to decrease it. It can be a positive effect for us. And enos, on the other hand, works coherently with the COX-2. If the COX-2 is increased, enos is also increased. So in both the cases, 1,8 cineole tried to decrease it, and it's a positive effect for us. So what can be the conclusion? In this study, it was observed that the exposure to the aeroclo 1254 caused liver toxicity. It has been determined that the effects of this toxicity reduce oxidative stress and inflammatory damage in the liver cells after administration of 1,8 cineole and improve histopathological damage through anti-apoptotic activity mechanisms. However, further studies are needed to determine the detailed molecular mechanisms of 1,8 cineole providing protection against PCVs or aeroclo 1254 toxicity. So these are the references, and thank you.
Harika, we thank you also for the nice presentation.
You're welcome.
Long time. And the audience, do you have any questions, please? Then let me ask you a question, Harika. Are these results related with cancer?
Yes, they are related with the cancer. This is the start because like against the aerochlor, there were no research for the terpenes. So we started as a first step to check whether they are going to create, like aerochlor is going to create the cancer and how the 1,8-cineol is going to cause anti-cancerous effect. So yes, these are the results related to cancer.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
For your answer also. If there are no other questions, we will continue with the next presentation. In silico, prediction of the anti-hypertensive mechanism of papaya leaf extract via beta-1 adrenergic receptor and phenylalanine hydrolase inhibition. Mevludia Chandradevi Dini Samayanti. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Mevludia is here. Yes, Mevludia.
Yes, sir. Hello, everyone. Before we begin, let me introduce myself briefly. I am Maulidia from UNISMA, which stands for University of Islam Malang. Today, I'm going to be presenting my findings in silico research about predictions of the anti-hypertensive mechanism of papaya leaf extract via beta-1 adrenergic receptors and phenylalanine hydroxylase receptor inhibition. For introduction, Carica papaya is a herbaceous succulent plant that belongs to the Carica family. Different parts of the plant are employed in the treatment of different diseases in various parts of the world. In previous research, the leaves of the papaya or Carica papaya have demonstrated potential as an antihypertensive drug. When a person experiences fear or extreme excitement, they will release catecholamines, which contains epinephrine or norepinephrine that will target one of many receptors, including the beta-1 receptor and enzyme PAH. That will be increasing heart rate and contractility, and the cardiac output will increase, hence increasing perfusion to tissues throughout the body. However, research on papaya leaves as an antihypertensive treatment is still rare, especially on its inhibition mechanism of beta-1 adrenergic receptor and phenylalanine hydroxylase receptor. In these silico studies were performed to examine molecularly at the bonding of active substance of papaya leaves with the target protein. Materials and methods that we use in this research is in silico with molecular docking the active compounds found in papaya leaves. Molecular docking used to examine the free binding, energy affinity, or delta G, and amino acid residue similarity of inhibition mechanism. The materials that we use is the active compound of Carica papaya was determined based on the result of previous studies. And the proteins we use in this research is beta-adrenergic receptor with code 7-DVK and phenylalanine hydroxylase enzyme with code 6-PAH. And data analysis using the indicator molecular docking is delta G or free binding energy affinity and amino acid residue. And for physicochemical, we use the indicator Lipinski rules that contains of first less than 5 hydrogen bond donors and less than 10 hydrogen bond acceptors, and a molecular mass less than 500 daltons, and a calculated octanol water partition coefficient or clock P that doesn't exceed 5. For the pharmacokinetic, we use the indicator intestinal absorption and volume distribution at steady state or PDSS and blood-brain barrier, and TYP2D6 and TYP3 A4 substrate and inhibitor. And we use total clearance and hepatotoxic and amish toxicity. Table in right is the table contains the active compounds that is used in this research. There are genistein, alpha-ionon, naringenin, and other active compounds. Material and tools that we use in this research is using equipment in the form of laptop with 11 Gen Intel Core i5 with Microsoft Windows 11 operating system and sufficient internet connection to this research. Molecular docking using the application, namely PUX 0.8 version of for Windows and visualize with Discovery Studio visualizer. And physicochemical and pharmacokinetic analysis using PKCSM website at that link, and the active compound of papaya leaves or Carica papaya was selected and used as a material for docking molecules can be downloaded via the PubChem website. And the structure of the protein, beta-1 adrenergic receptor, and the phenylalanine hydroxylase enzyme downloaded via website rscsb.org. And then the data analysis on beta adrenergic receptor findings that free bond energy or delta G and percentage of amino acid residue equation of active compounds of papaya leaves on beta-1 adrenergic receptor is that top 3 in this myristatin, linoleic acid, ferulic acid. That myristatin has delta G minus 9.3, and the equation of amino acid residue is 66%. And then linoleic acid, we have a minus 6.8, then an equation of amino acid residue is 66%. And for the ferulic acid, we have minus 7.6, and the equation of amino acid residue is 66%. This is the visualization of myristatin, and this is the visualization that linoleic acid, and this is the visualization of ferulic acid. This visualization is the molecule that binding to another molecule. On phenylalanine hydroxylase receptor, as for phenylalanine is naringenin minus 9 and the minus 9.9, and the equation of amino acid residue is 0 because there is none of the molecule is the same with the native ligand. Result for the pharmacokinetic in the table, upper table, for the pharmacokinetic of active compounds Carica papaya leaf is the indicator for intestinal assault is good if more than 80%. As we can see at this upper table, that this top 4 active compounds has good absorption intestinal because they have more than 80%. And for the distribution, the indicator is PDSS, that is good with more than 0.45, and the BBB, blood-brain barrier indicator, that is good if more than 0.3. As we can see in the table again, the only compound that have a good PDSS score and is carpain, the PDSS score, and luteolin. And for the BB score, 4 of them has a good score. And for the substrate and inhibitor, 4 of them didn't have that substrate inhibitor except for the carpain has the GYP3A for substrate. This. And then as for the expression, we use total clearance score. The higher the score, the better the drug clearance activity. As you can see at the table, carpain total clearance score is the highest. And then for the toxicity, we use hepatotoxic and amish toxicity indicator. In the result is all 4 of them is not hepatotoxic and no for amish toxicity. And then for the physicochemical, there are top 4 active compounds that meet the criteria of Lipinski rule. There is naringenin, kaempferol, luteolin, and miricetin. For the conclusion, the antihypertensive mechanism of papaya leaves could be mediated by beta-1 adrenergic receptor because the affinity level of its active substance to beta-1 adrenergic receptor greater than phenylalanine hydroxylase receptor. And the active compounds of papaya leaves such as carpain, naringenin, luteolin, and genistein predicted to have a good bioavailability if administered via the oral route. However, it is necessary in vivo research to assess its present toxicity and bioactivity capabilities. This is the reference that I use for this research, and that being the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation, Melvidia.
Yes, sir.
Are there
You're
any
welcome.
questions from the audience, please? Okay, Melvidia, we are in Turkey, Turkey, and we don't here find papaya. Is it a common vegetable or fruit in Indonesia?
Is it very common in Indonesia? We have that papaya in every house in Indonesia. That is a common plant in Indonesia.
Is it already used for therapeutic purposes? Do you use it for therapy already?
Oh, no. Papaya is used.
Is a traditional therapy.
No, but papaya is used by eating like papaya itself raw.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for the presentation, Melvidia.
Yes,
The next one is from Osman Bajinka. But I think Osman is not here. We will contact him. The next one is Müfida, Dini Samayanti, and Yoyon. The effect of 1%, 2%, and 4% sulfur reduction on zebrafish. Okay, Müfida is here. Yes, Müfida, you may start your presentation.
Yes, hello everyone. Good morning. Introducing my name is Mufida. I came from the Islamic University of Malang, Indonesia. First of all, I would like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to present my research result. On this occasion, I will present the result of my research about the effect of 1%, 2%, and 4% sucrose induction on zebrafish cardiomyocyte damage. Introduction. Diabetes mellitus or DM is disease characterized by hyperglycemia and disturbance in carbohydrate, fat, and protein metabolism associated with absolute or relative deficiency in the action and or secretion of insulin. One of the complications of diabetes is cardiovascular disease. Some studies mention insulin resistance in the cardiac muscle will increase the occurrence of inflammation and necrosis of cardiac muscle cells. The study aims to prove the effect of sucrose induction on zebrafish cardiomyocyte damage. In addition, the study modifies previous research, namely the research of Singh et al. 2018 and Gleason 2007, which said that there is an increase in blood glucose levels and a decrease in the ability to change the rate of glucose transport when given excessive glucose concentration. Material as method. The research design used post-test control group only. In this design, there are two types of groups, namely the control group and the experimental of treatment group. Zebrafish research sample consisting of 4 is normal groups 1%, 2%, and 4% sucrose dissolved in 2 liters of aquarium water. Each group consists of 6 fish. The step of making sucrose is done by dissolving 20 gram, 40 gram, and 18 gram of pure sugar or sucrose into 2 liters of water so that a concentration of 1%, 2%, and 4% is obtained. Treatment for 280 days, replacement of aquarium water every 2 days. Historical observation of hard muscle preparation with high-end staining, and 4,000 time magnification of hard muscle edema and hard muscle cell necrosis. Statistical analysis using ANOVA with significant p less than 0.05. Picture and table of hard muscle damage. Histopathology of inflammatory cell infiltration of zebrafish hard muscle with head staining and 400 time magnification. In the figure, it was found that number of inflammatory cell infiltration in the 4% induction group increased significantly when compared to the normal group or the 1% and 2% induction group. In the picture, the description and normal groups, J1 is 1% sucrose induction group, J2 2% sucrose induction group, and J4 is 4% sucrose induction group. In the picture, black arrow is normal cardiomyocyte nuclei and yellow arrow is inflammatory cell infiltration. Based on diagram, statistically 1%, 2%, and 4% sucrose induction is significantly higher, causing inflammatory cell infiltration in zebrafish hard muscle. Based on the result of the analysis carried out using the one-way ANOVA method and continue with the 2K test, it showed that the 1% group has an increased number of inflammatory cells that are significantly different from the 2% and 4% groups. The increase in the number of inflammatory cells occurs because prolonged hyperglycemic condition trigger the accumulation of IgS, which result in endothelial cell and monocyte producing inflammatory mediators in large quantities. The next, histopathology of interstitial edema area of zebrafish head muscle with 400 time magnification and high staining. In the histopathology image, there was significant increase in the area of interstitial edema in the 4% induction group when compared to the normal group or 1% and 2% induction group. In the description and normal group, G1 is 1% induction group, J2 is 2% induction group, J4 is 4% induction group. In the picture, red arrow is edema area. Based on statistical picture in 1%, 2%, and 4% sucrose induction significantly increased the area of interstitial edema in zebrafish hard muscle. Based on the result of the analysis carried out using the one-way ANOVA method, then continue with the 2K test, it saw that the 1% group has a significantly different amount of increase in interstitial edema area with the 2% and 4% group. This is because there is an increase in blood vessel pressure that is higher than the filtration capacity of the lymphatic capillaries, which cause an abnormal increase in interstitial fluid resulting in edema. The result and conclusion, sucrose induction 2% and 4% has caused an increase in blood glucose levels of 127 mg per deciliter and 179 mg per deciliter. The number of leukocyte cell infiltration G3 is 624 was higher than the normal group 232, G1 298, and G2 490 with P less than 0.05. The total area of ODEM G3 43,965 micrometers is greater than the normal is 5,690 micrometers, G1 90,187 micrometers, and G2 35,070 micrometers with P less than 0.05. From this study, it can be concluded that for person in glucose induction cause damage to zebrafish heart cell, which is characterized by the presence of leukocyte cell infiltration of 40% and ODEM area 42%. This is reference I use. These are some of things that I can convey beforehand. I apologize profusely to all of you if in delivery there might be mistake in word or some statement that cannot be understood. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Müfide, for your nice presentation. It was a nice presentation. We thank you. And from the audience, is there any question? You also used zebrafish, Müfide. Am I right? You used zebrafish.
Yes, sir.
I think you have a team working together, and today you made your presentations. Yes, it is a successful team. Thank you for the presentation also. And now we will continue with the next presentation then. I think Osman is not here still, so Hande Gündel may continue. Yes, it's your turn, Hande.
Hello, I'm sharing my screen. Okay. Can you see my screen? Can you see? Okay. I'm talking about, I'm sorry. Today I'm talking about determination of stormwater drainage in university campuses, case study of İzmir Katip Çelebi University campus. Water can have devastating and difficult to repair effects on structures, buildings, and road networks. In addition, polluted waters carry many microorganisms and hazardous chemicals. And these waters that mix with drinking water pose a danger to living life. It causes major long-term problems as it drags wildlife from their natural habitat and directs them to where people are in majority. Flooding can cause major disruption in cities and lead to significant impact on people, the economy, and on the environment. These impacts may be exacerbated by climate and socio-economic changes. Resilience thinking has become an important way for city planners and decision makers to manage flood risk. Urban floods are caused by natural events and anthropogenic activities. Flood risk, which occurs due to various causes, consists of 5 categories. These are fluvial flood, coastal flood, reservoir flood, severe flood, backwater main. And flooding in urban areas affects more than one sector. First one, traffic jams, and second one, damage to public and private property. Third one, mixing of solid waste in flood water causing further cooking of drains, I'm so sorry, vector and waterborne disease in coastal cities, increased inundation of low-lying areas during high tide, reduced capacity of drains to discharge stormwater. And sixth one, disruption of power supply and telecommunication. And final, mixing of fecal matter in the flood water due to open defecation. Flooding is the spread of water beyond its normal bed and banks into the surrounding area, usually as a result of natural events such as excessive rainfall, snow melt, storms, or floods. Impervious hard surfaces, for example, roofs, roads, large areas of pavement, and paved parking lots, increase the volume and speed of stormwater runoff. This rapid water surge erodes riverbeds, reduces groundwater infiltration, and deposits many pollutants and sediments into stormwater. Permeable soft surfaces such as green roofs, rain gardens, green pavement, parking lots, and infiltration trenches reduce the volume and velocity of stormwater runoff. The faster water reaches the ground, recharges the water table and filters out many pollutants and sediments before reaching the stormwater. Stormwater is rainwater that runs off surfaces such as lawns, roads, roofs, car parks, and natural ground surfaces. Stormwater that is unable to enter the underground drainage system will find its natural way to the nearest water course via overland flow paths. These overland flow paths are typically natural depressions that often occur through private property, open tunnels, roadways, and public reserves. Stormwater management model is one of the most widely used urban watershed hydrology and water quality models in the world. Historically, what sets stormwater management apart from other urban watershed models is its emphasis on engineered water conveyance systems for stormwater runoff and wastewater management, considering both combined and sanitary sewer design and performance. The model has been the subject of natural-based solution for the last decade. The principle of stormwater management aims to control stormwater in urban areas. These systems aim to replace the traditional sewage system with blue-green infrastructure systems, which consist of rainwater harvesting, rain gardens, vegetative swales, green roofs, green walls, permeable pavements, and rainwater tanks. Flooding, one of the main consequences of climate change, is the biggest challenge for cities. Therefore, areas with high building density need to be transformed, and especially rainwater needs to be used efficiently. The term green infrastructure in the literature is commonly referred as low impact development, best management practices, urban drainage systems, water sensitive urban design, low impact urban design and development. Stormwater drainage and sewers are part of the essential infrastructure of a modern city. Blue and green drainage infrastructure with blue representing the water body and the green referring the plants. is a form of development aiming at improvement of the sustainability and resilience. Green infrastructure can be grouped into two main categories. First of all, structural, and the second one, non-structural practices. Structural green infrastructure includes green roofs, rainwater tanks, wetlands, bioswales, pervious pavements, stormwater detention systems, planter boxes, cisterns, rain barrels, and downspout disconnection, among others. Non-structural green infrastructure is designed to build or roads to minimize the imperviousness, improvement of the infiltration ability of soils by amending the properties and improving the vegetation of a specific site or region. Impervious surfaces refers to those areas which prevent or impede the infiltration of stormwater into the soil as it enters in natural conditions prior to development. Common impervious areas include rooftops, sidewalks, walkways, patios, driveways, parking lots, storage areas, compacted gravel and soil surfaces, awning and other fabric or plastic coverings. In scope of the study, drainage density analysis is done, and thus accumulation points of stormwater is determined. İzmir, and first of all, I started İzmir region. İzmir is the third largest city in Turkey and one of the oldest Mediterranean coastal cities with deep historical presence dating back 8,500 years. It is a city where Asia opens to the Mediterranean Sea and contains various cultures, languages, and religions. It contributes to the country economically, socially, and culturally, and contains many civilizations. İzmir, being a coastal city, has to deal with various habitat problems. Environmental pollutants on soils, air, and water are among the most important problems in this city. Coastal erosion, water pollution, pollution of natural resources, and air and sea pollution due to uncontrolled migration are among the problems seen throughout the city. It has a diverse topographical structure, valuable flora and fauna character, natural resources, historical and cultural heritage, as well as the presence of different cultures throughout the city. The height above sea level is between 0 and 1,200 meters. It is a peninsula with hot and dry summers and rainy winters. Şiiri district is an area surrounding Menemen to the north, Karşıyaka district to the east, and the Aegean Sea to the south and west. Its surface area is 139 square kilometers in total. Families migrating from the Balkans first started to settle in this district in 1893. And in 1950s, the area structure changed with informal houses, and after the administrative division in 1992, it became a district with the largest area. The campus near to Atatürk organized the campus, which name is İzmir Katip Çelebi University, near to the Atatürk organized industry, established on an area of approximately 700,000 meters square. The campus has an indoor area 350,000 meters square is expected. In this study, first of all, digital elevation model was produced. A digital elevation model is a digital model or 3D representation of a terrain surface created from terrain elevation data. The term digital surface model represents the Earth's surface and includes all objects on it. A digital elevation model can be represented as a raster data within the scope of Chile district drainage density analysis. Allows pulsar digital elevation model with a resolution of 12.5 meters was first used. The elevation model of the area was first determined on this model. And drainage density is defined as the closeness of spacing of stream channels. Drainage density of the study area is calculated using line density analysis tool in ArcGIS software. It is one of the many physiographic properties of basins considered as an index of surface processes. It is still one of the most commonly used indices for the characterization of fluvial dissected landscapes. In the study, hydrology analysis was conducted to determine the flow direction and accumulation points of water. Along with the determination of flow direction and accumulation points with hydrology analysis, the bifurcation rates of the streams throughout the district were also determined. After calculating the length and capacity depth of the bifurcated stream branches, interpolation analysis was performed to calculate the accumulation points of the water. With this analysis, the points where the water accumulated the most and the least were determined. Can you see in this area? I'm so sorry. In this area, accumulation level is very high, and also this year, and the campus has a middle level of drainage system, drainage density. I'm so sorry. And conclusion, in areas with high drainage intensity, project design and planning should be carried out with care. The rapid collection and runoff of rainwater in these areas can pose various challenges such as erosion, flood risk, and soil stability. Here are the key considerations for project design and planning in such areas. And first of all, hydraulic and hydrological analysis, rainfall data analysis, precipitation data of the region should be analyzed in detail. Maximum rainfall amounts, intensity, and frequency of rainfall should be determined. Flow modeling, flow path and water movement in the region should be determined by modeling. Flow velocity and water movement routes should be analyzed. Erosion control structures, methods such as terracing, sedimentation ponds, planting should be used to prevent erosion, especially on sloping lands. Vegetation, natural vegetation should be preserved and new vegetation should be planted to ensure soil retention. And infrastructure design, effective and adequate drainage systems should be designed. Structures such as rainwater channels, drainage ditches, water retention ponds should be planned. And also water infiltration into the soil should be ensured by preferring permeable surfaces as much as possible. And the fourth one, risk analysis and management. High flood risk areas should be identified and additional precautions should be taken for structures to be built in these areas. Emergency plans to be implemented in case of floods or overflow should be created, and the people of the region should be informed. And the fifth one, in engineering structures, in areas with high slopes and high flow rates, water should be controlled with retaining walls and small dam structures. The flow of water should be made uninterrupted with appropriate bridge and culvert design at road and structure crossing. And topographic and geotechnical studies. Detailed topographic maps of the region should be prepared and planning should be made accordingly. Soil surveys should be conducted to determine the type and stability of the soil, and building foundation should be designed accordingly. These considerations will ensure that the project design and planning process is safer, sustainable, and environmentally sensitive in areas with high drainage density. And thank you for listening to me.
Okay, Hande, thank you for your presentation. And
You're welcome.
from the audience, are there any questions? Okay, I also have one question now. Hande, can you say anything about, is it an advantage to be a coastal city or not?
Coastal area, for this
Yeah.
coastal area.
For drainage, İzmir is a coastal city you mentioned. Is it an advantage or disadvantage?
Is in the how can I say, in coastal area near to agency is the advantages for this drainage system. We can adapt these green infrastructure and blue infrastructure systems in this area, and we can transform these drainage problems in this year. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Okay. Thank you. And now it's time for the last presentation, Fatih İman. Hande, can you stop your presentation? Okay. Yes, Fatih. Fatih, you may start, but we cannot hear you.
Hello, everyone. Do you hear me?
Can you increase the volume, please?
Hello, everyone. Did you hear me, sir?
I can hear you, but the rest maybe cannot hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, thank you.
What about the rest of the people?
Okay. It's okay.
Okay
You may
now?
start, Fatih. Yes, okay, it's okay.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Fatih İman Mahsar. I am PhD student at Bursa Uludağ University, field of architecture. Today, I will present my research about intangible cultural heritage of Algeria, traditional industries and crafts. About the content we have in the first introduction, after we have the definition of traditional industries and crafts. After that, we have the type of traditional industries and crafts in Algeria. After we have the importance of traditional industry and crafts in the valorization of heritage, and we have also the challenge of traditional industries and crafts in Algeria. And in the last, we have the mechanism for developing traditional industries and crafts in Algeria. About the introduction, the intangible cultural heritage is one of the basic sources that allow individuals and societies to know their history and identity. It includes practices, representations, expressions, knowledge, skills, as well as the instruments, objects, artifacts. The Algerian cultural heritage is full of many crafts and traditional industries that are threatened with extinctions and erasure from popular memory due to the tyranny of modern industries and the lack of interest in them. Traditional industries and crafts play an important role in the development of the economy at the global level. So Algeria must also promote this sector and pay some attention to its participation in the development of the national economic sector. The objectives of this study aims to highlight the intangible cultural heritage of Algeria, traditional industries and crafts, because it represents an important sector as it expresses the identity of people and the culture of a nation. It's considered an important economic activity that contributes to the development and growth of crafts activity at all levels. The importance of the research comes in providing effective solutions to promote the traditional industries and craft sector to be exploited in the development and promotion of national economic sector and to contribute to increasing the national income of the country. For the traditional industry and craft definition, the UNESCO was defined the traditional industry like the products that are produced by artisans, either completely by hand or with the help of hand tools, or even mechanical means, as long as the direct manual contribution of the artisan remains the most substantial components of the finished product. For the types of traditional industries and crafts in Algeria, we have in the first, the carpets industry. It's released mainly on natural raw materials based on wool and natural colors extracted from herbs and plants. But the second, we have leather industry. The leather industry is characterized by its connection to livestock resins areas, which are considered the basis of the raw material, which is leather. The copper industry, copper products are similar and differ from one region to another in terms of the nature of the product. We have also the jewelry industry. Various regions of the country are famous of this type of activities. We have also the basketry industry. It includes the manufacture of mats, gabion, furniture, etc. The pottery industry relies on clay, and among the regions famous about this industry, we can find it in the south of Algeria. The importance of traditional industry and crafts in Algeria in the valorization of heritage. The traditional industry represents an important sector with cultural, economic, social, and tourism dimensions, as it represents an important economic tributary and a living element of culture and civilization. It serves a documentary evidence of the cultural and historical components. It's one of the components of the national character, as it contributes to communication between the past and the present to consolidate identity, establishes the spirit of authenticity, highlight heritage, and contribute to advancing economic and social development. This sector occupies a great position in the economic due to its effective role at various levels, which are the first, the cultural and civilizational level. The cultural dimension has special importance for the traditional crafts and industries, as it's considered a fundamental determinant of the purchasing decision for the national and foreign consumer, as the traditional product is considered a means of communication between members of society. The social and economic level, this sector has the ability to observe the employment and creation of jobs. The traditional industries and crafts in Algeria, these traditional industries have some problems and challenges that are the failure of including the traditional industry and craft sector as a development priority within the country's economic and reform policies, and the weakness of clear legislations and laws to regulate it and supported. This is about the political level. Poor conditions for practicing craft activity, difficulty in supplying raw materials and equipments, weak fiscal and tax stimulus, the differences in the established information system, the lack of studies and the weakness of associational organizations which affect to the development of the traditional industry and craft sector, the high financial cost of participating at regional, national, and even international salons by craftsmen. For the mechanism for developing traditional industry and crafts in Algeria, the country had some mechanism for developing these traditional industries and enhance it. In the first level, we have the support and promotional structures, like we have the national structures, we have the National Chamber of Traditional Industry and the National Agency for Traditional Industry. About the local structures, we have rooms for traditional industry and crafts, and we have various spaces. This is for the promotions of traditional industries and crafts. In the second, they have promotion and training programs. The state had some programs like software that creates and improve your enterprise, programs, local production programs, creation of some programs to improve this traditional industries. And we have also the program nucleus, which is cooperation between Algeria and Germany to enhance these traditional industries. In the third, we have the financial support structure for the purpose of encouraging individual initiatives and self-employment. The government has allocated a set of structure and financial support programs that would provide economic and technical advice and financial assistance to craftsmen. And in the last, the promotional events to promote the traditional industry, like celebrating the National Handicrafts Day, local and national salons, International Salon of Traditional Crafts, creating the National Award for Traditional Industry and Crafts. In the conclusion, we can say that a traditional industry and craft sector have known many developments both in terms of materials or use of techniques. These industries know many problems and difficulties that threaten to disappear. Among the measures that must be taken are the following: working to allocate special prize for craft creativity, the need to organize the traditional industry and craft sector by following the best management approach, the necessity of establishing and encouraging specialized centers for training in traditional craft industry to transfer it to the future generations. Holding periodic meetings with bodies and departments related to the traditional industries and craft sector. These proposals were brought from the problems that threaten the traditional industries and crafts to disappear. Therefore, the main objective that we wish to be applied in reality is to highlight the intangible cultural heritage of Algeria for the development of crafts activities at all levels. That's all. Thank you for your listening.
Okay, Fatih, thank you for the presentation.
You're welcome.
Are there any questions to Fatih?
I have a question for this presentation. Thank you for this presentation. How can we develop traditional industries? And first of all, can you summarize the importance of traditional industries, and how can we develop these traditional industries for you?
We can develop it, like I said. We can say in the political level, the state can organize some periodic meeting, time to time, to know to know how it's the role in local and national level. That's how it's going on. We can also making prizes for craftsmen. We can also need to organize traditional industry and craft sector by following the best management approach. we can plan some strategies to learning and making this craftsman to learn it to the future generations to develop it, these crafts.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay, Iman, we thank you for the presentation.
yeah,
Are there any questions? Okay, I think we reached the end of this session, session 16. And please, can everybody start their webcams and we will take a screenshot. Nurul, Mevlidia, Suat, you may also start your screen webcam. Suat, Hadika. Okay. I think everyone is ready. Okay, everybody, thank you. This is the end of session 16. We have a break of half an hour. Then we will start.
Do you have coffee in the break?
Yes, but self-service coffee.
Okay.
See you in the next session. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank
See
you.
you.